Right, we are live. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Stevie's joining me.
Hello.
I'm going to be doing something a little special today, which is... Where am I sat? I'm sat here. My first ever live stream of Netrunner. I've been playing Netrunner for 28 years, and I've never actually done a live stream of it. So I started playing Netrunner, the original incarnation, designed by Richard Garfield, published by Wizards of the Coast in '96. Then I played the Fantasy Flight Games reboot of it, whenever that was. And then after Fantasy Flight Games, in fact, I stopped playing during the Fantasy Flight Games era because I wasn't able to keep up with it. But the game is alive and well, and possibly stronger now than ever before, because it's been picked up by a fan-made organisation called Null System Games.
Null Signal.
Null Signal Games. Did I put Null System? I think I've put Null System.
Oh, no.
On the... Yes, I've called it Null System Games. I'm going to just change that, because it's not Null System, it's Null Signal. It was a late night last night.
They need all the help they can get.
Null Signal Game. So it's a non-profit organisation. It's fan-based.
It's all volunteer.
All volunteers, but they pay their artists and they produce cards and they are keeping the game alive and well. And we've made a couple of decks. I say we've made a couple of decks. I physically put this deck together based on a deck list that somebody else gave me, because I notoriously cannot make my own decks.
I've been playing Netrunner just as long as you, actually.
Right.
Yeah. We were very excited when Magic was out and all of our high school friends were playing. Then it was the D&D one, Spell something or other.
Yeah, I played that.
Yeah.
That was awful.
It was not good, but you collected it because it was collectible cards.
Yeah.
And then Netrunner came out and we were all, internet tech kids. We were in computer science programs.
Lawnmower Man.
It was awesome. And so we dived on that real fast. We played a lot of sealed. That was the way we preferred to play with sealed deck. And I was the 14th best player in the world at the Gen Con World Championships of 1999.
Okay.
And there were only like 30 of us. So it wasn't actually that big of a... I think I won one of my 4 games or something.
Okay.
By that point, the game had really degenerated because there was, in the original game, no copies of card per deck limit. You could have a whole deck made of 3 different cards.
12 Jack and Joes.
And that was exactly what the Corpse did. They had the over-expensive card that put 3 advancement counters on an agenda.
Yeah.
80 copies of the 4 difficulty 4-point agenda, and said, "Come get me if you can."
Yeah.
Right. And it was basically like you have a half a turn to affect me.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to win the game immediately. So I certainly wasn't ready for that. Like I said, I think I won one match out of my whole tournament thing. But I told people without telling them how many people were in the tournament. I was the 14th, but
there you go.
That was my claim to fame for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I used to, back in the late 90s, right through to about 2001, I was the UK Netrunner tournament coordinator. And we ran regular tournaments at my house. But it was 8 people, and it was the same 8 people mostly. Yeah. But we did it. We kept the game alive until we didn't. Right. So what is Netrunner? For those people who don't know, this isn't a sponsored video. This isn't going to be a full tutorial on how to play the game. But essentially, it is a 2-player asymmetric game where one player plays a really good, benevolent, kind, generous, wholesome corporation. It's in the future. It's kind of neuromancery, cyberpunky, that type of stuff. But essentially, yes, I'm a big corporation, and I'm trying to push through my agendas. And if I score 7 points of agendas, I manage to win.
And I'm the runner.
The evil runner.
In this case, actually evil, because I'm playing someone from the criminal faction.
Okay.
But my job is to break into those servers where he's storing his agendas and trying to advance them, or maybe steal cards from his R&D, his deck, before he gets the chance to draw them. And I'm also looking for 7 points of agenda.
Yes, and he does that basically by hacking in, using sort of a virtual world, hacking into this. So it's all virtual. Nothing's real, apart from when I send the boys round to your house and.
Yeah, we'll leave the core damage tokens in the bin for now, I think. Yeah.
So you have deck construction rules like a lot of CCGs. This is a deck construction game rather than a deck builder. My definition of a deck builder is where you build your deck during the game itself. This is not that. This is a game where you turn up to the game with a deck that you have constructed yourself, whether you've designed it yourself, or whether you have been onto a community channel and said, "Help, I can't make my own decks, somebody make a deck for me."
Very analogous to the living card game idea.
Yes.
It's still going on.
Which is what this is. I will be honest with you, I have not played this deck at all. So there are some cards in here that I don't know how they work. This is going to be very much a voyage into the unknown for me, which is not the recommended way to play. You should know your deck, know how to play it, and know what it's trying to do.
I have built my deck, but I don't have every card released. They're going to be doing a cycling of card sets out as new cards come in. I think early next year, I hope. So I was paying attention to what was going to be legal in the future and sticking to those.
Yeah.
I do have some of the older sets. I built these decks myself, basically saying I don't want anything too complicated because I haven't played in years. And I've only played them like twice each. So.
Right. So at the moment, there are various tournament formats. The current standard format uses all of the existing cards that have been produced by Null Signal Games, but also the last 1 or 2 sets from Fantasy Flight Games.
1 or 2 cycles.
Yeah, so those are still legal.
Year of stuff.
But as Stevie mentioned, next year, when Null Signal Games are going to update their standard format, they are cycling out all of the old FFG cards. So as of next year, I mean, you can still play with them in friendlies. You can do whatever you want. You can make your own cards if you want to. But for official tournaments, the standard format next year will cycle out any of the old FFG cards that are really hard to get hold of. But they allow proxies.
Yeah.
So as long as you're using
tournaments,
as long as you're using opaque sleeves, and there are some proxies in here. So Null Signal Games have been very generous to me. They have sent me a full set of all of their cards that they've printed. But this deck actually does contain some of the original Fantasy Flight Games cards. So there's a couple of proxies in here as well that I've printed off. Right, we're going to make a start. We've built our decks. You shuffle your deck and you both draw 5 cards. And there is mulligan rules, isn't there? Now, which type of mulligan rules does this game use?
I believe it is set aside as many cards as you don't want from your opening hands, draw new ones, and then shuffle the old ones back in.
Is it selective mulligan?
I believe so.
Okay. If anybody in the chat could let us know what the official tournament rules are for Netrunner.
The hand size is only 5, so it's not the reductive mulligan.
The reason I'm thinking it's not selective mulligan is that gives a big advantage for the Corp.
That's true. You could just bury all your agendas.
So I'm leaning towards that it is a full mulligan. Throw the hand, draw new ones and shuffle is it. But if somebody in the chat who knows the game, Martin is here.
Well, it's a friend game. So
it's a friendly game. Yeah, this isn't an official tournament. But
all right, I will keep the hand. I guess you're supposed to tell me that first, but that's okay.
I don't know.
Full mulligan.
I don't know what the official order is.
Well, you always take the first turn, so
yeah. I'm going to keep this.
Go for it.
I'm going to keep this.
All right.
So the way that the game plays is the players will take it in turns. The Corp always goes first because they're the best, and I have one mandatory thing that I must do at the start of my turn, which is to draw a card from my R&D. Then I get 3 actions, and I can do pretty much what I want with those 3 actions. On the runner's turn, the runner gets 4 actions and is totally free to do what they want. So the only slight difference is the Corp kind of gets 4 actions, but the first one must be to draw a card.
Yeah, you're a big business. There's always info coming in.
And this almost never ever happens, if I ever need to draw a card from my deck and it's empty, I lose the game. Whereas the runner, that doesn't apply to you. Okay, so various things that you can do with your actions. Money is a resource in this game, and you start with 5 money. These money chips, by the way, these are spice counters from June Imperium, produced by a company called BuyTheSameToken.com. I don't know where yours are from.
These were all tournament rewards from the FFG days, and I believe there was it was a Team Covenant or somebody like this making tokens from the States. So when I was playing in Germany, it was a cool thing to have those available as participation prizes.
Okay, so what I am going to do is, and yeah, one of the big differences between this and 99% of other card games is that when you spend your money, it's gone. It's not like turn 1 you've got 1 mana, turn 2 you've got 2 mana, turn 3 you've got 3 mana. It's like no, you've got to work hard for this money, and yeah, when it's gone, it's gone.
Work hard for it, honey.
One of the actions that I can do is I can simply take a money. Another action I can do is I can draw a card, and another action I can do is install a card, and I think I'm going to install a card, but I'm not sure what I'm going to install and where I'm going to install it. This is interesting. Okay, so my first action is I'm going to install a piece of ice, which is short for Intrusion Countermeasures Electronics.
Sure.
Something like that. Basically, it is a piece of software that I am installing to protect my servers. Now, at the start of the game, I have 3 servers. I have my headquarters, which is here, which is my hand of cards. I have R&D, which is my deck, and I have my archives, which is like my discard area. So I have 3 servers at the start of the game, and I can protect each of them with this ice, and I can also create as many of these remote servers as I want to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of ice in front of headquarters.
Telling me that you definitely have things to steal in your hand.
I have 5 agendas in hand for you to steal, so I'm protecting...
Out of those 3 cards?
Yeah.
4
no, there's 5 cards.
Oh, that's right, if you want.
So one of my supporters asked me if I could explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it while I'm doing it. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay.
Because by doing that,
you give away what you do.
Literally, you give the game away. So I've put a piece of ice protecting my headquarters. My headquarters is my hand of cards. That has led Stevie to think I must therefore have something in hand to protect. It could be a bluff. I might have nothing in hand, or certain corps have traps.
You might also know that thematically the Grim faction likes to attack the hand.
That's very true. Yeah. So that's my first action. My second action is I am going to install another piece of ice in a remote server. So I'm creating a remote server here.
Right now, this is a very bad bluff. There's nothing to steal here.
And then my third action is I am going to put a card here. Now, there are 3 types of cards that you can install in remote servers. There are agendas, which are the things that I need to progress in order to win the game. There are assets, which will do cool stuff for me. And there are also upgrades, which can make the server better. Now, you can only ever have either one agenda or one asset, but you can have upgrades as well. So when the first card goes down, he doesn't know what it is. It could be an agenda, it could be an asset, it could be an upgrade.
Yep.
If I was to put another card in there, then you know that one of those is an upgrade. But for now...
And both assets and upgrades can be traps that damage me.
They can.
So I don't necessarily want to run on that.
Yep, so that's it. That's my turn. I've got +1 maximum hand size.
And then something.
Whenever I score an agenda, I can add a card from my archives
back to
my hand.
All right.
Okay.
So then on my first turn, I'm going to use
special abilities. Andy's saying. So yeah, special ability of my one is my hand size is 6 instead of 5, and whenever I score an agenda, I can put a card from my archives back into my hand. The criminal.
Yeah. So Ken Tenma is one of the older runners from back in the FFG days. He's been reprinted in the new format. He's got 0 link, meaning I'm not inherently good at defending myself from being counter-traced. 4 memory units, which is standard for runners, limits how many programs I can have in play. And my ability is that the first time each turn that I play a run event, an event is like a sorcery or a card from my hand that is just used and then goes away. If it has the run keyword, I gain a money. So I like to play run events.
Oh, so you're going to be playing lots of run events?
Yes.
Yeah.
Theoretically. But the first thing I'm going to do with my first turn, using one of these markers to count my actions off, is to play Sure Gamble, staple of the Netrunner game. So I spend 5 money to gain 9 money. So
it's effectively gain 4 as long as you've got 5.
With the floor there. Yep.
But you will find most decks have 3 of those in there.
The second thing I'm going to do, because you've left me with no barrier to do so, is I'm going to go start a run on R&D.
Okay.
And since there's no ice here, there's really not much that the corp can do to stop it.
Nope.
And I get to look at the card and you don't.
Yeah.
All right.
So whenever you make a run on R&D, if it is successful, you get to access the top card of the deck.
And if this has a trash cost, which is a little icon in the corner, I can spend that much money to make it go away.
If it's an agenda, you score it.
Yes, I would.
Oh, he scored it. So he basically hacked into my R&D system and found that at some point in the future, like tomorrow, I was going to start working on a new agenda.
On an off-world office.
That agenda is worth 2 points. He's already got 2 points.
And it does have text here. It says when you score this agenda, gain 7. But I believe that only counts if you would do it. So I don't actually get any free money. I've stolen it.
It used to be called Liberated. I think it's stolen now.
I think it's stolen now, yeah. And now because the top of the deck has changed from before, I'm going to use my third action to run on R&D.
Yeah. It could be that the runner can actually win the game on turn 1. And I've done this. Just by running R&D and being very, very lucky. It can happen.
This time I found a card that I could neither steal nor trash.
Now, you might think that that's actually then a waste of time.
No.
But it's not. Because Stevie now knows what card I am going to draw next turn. And this game is all about knowledge.
I think with my last click, I'm going to draw a card.
Okay. So, at the end of your turn, I'm going to res Rashida Jaheim.
Mm-hmm.
I will be very happy when this card disappears out of the standard format.
Oh, no.
Because it seems totally and utterly OP, and it is in most decks. So it doesn't cost me anything to res it. When your turn begins, I can trash it to gain 3 money and draw 3 cards.
Okay.
That to me just seems completely bonkers. So I get 3 money.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, I think the downside is I'm now going to struggle.
Because your hand's overfull.
Because my hand is overfull. So I draw 3 cards, and then at the start of my turn, I draw a card. Now, this is the problem, because the Corp, if he's ever over 5 cards, well, for me 6, I have to discard cards at the end of my turn into archives. Now, they do go face down.
So I don't know what they are.
You don't know what they are.
But right now, it's not defended.
Yeah, and you can protect archives, but most people don't. Although the criminals are famous for having a particular card which allows them to run into archives, sneak into HQ.
We are not dumpster divers.
From the back door.
And I'm offended at the suggestion.
Right. Okay, so I just need a minute to read these cards because, again, I've not played this deck. I don't know how it works. Might need to just refresh myself on what cards I have played here.
A lot of face down in Netrunner.
Yeah.
Maybe the only game. Well, no, the new Star Wars plays stuff face down.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, it plays around with that.
Okay. Ooh. Right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. So I need to install at least one. Otherwise, I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're not that hard up, are you?
Struggle. Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is first action is I'm going to install a second piece of ice on this server. So your first one doesn't cost you anything to install. Second one will cost you.
Each one costs you the amount of ice that are already there.
Yeah, and there's no limit to how many you can install. So that was my first action. My second action is I am going to install.
Definitely something worth protecting, apparently.
Another Rashida Jaheim in there, honestly.
Should I believe him? Chat, let me know if I should believe him. Turns out it is a whole hand mulligan like you thought, but since we didn't use him, it's...
So first action was to install that. Second action was to install that. Third action, I'm just going to take credit.
So now you're telling me that you have something to defend here.
Maybe.
And expensive ice in front of it.
Maybe.
I get my 4 clicks back. Let's not wait for tomorrow and start by running this thing. Please spend your money to keep me out.
So whenever the runner makes a run on a protected, I want to call it data fort. It's a server.
I know, right?
It's a server. I get the opportunity to res the ice. Resing the ice will cost a certain amount of money. The more expensive it is, the more.
We can imagine that I'm this little guy.
Yeah.
And I'm marching into your
computer program is coming in.
Yeah. So now he has the opportunity to either let me walk past this thing that he spent money to put on the table, or to spend money to turn it on, in which case it will ravage me. But I feel a little safe in the fact that I don't really have anything in play to lose.
No.
So the worst you can do is tell me to go home. Maybe I lose some money. Maybe you give me a tag, but I still have plenty of actions left to get rid of it if that were the case. So this is the be brave, run naked methodology.
Okay, I'm not going to res this piece of ice.
I will gladly walk forward and continue with my run.
At that point, we can use this, actually. At that point, the runner passes that,
I could decide to just go home.
You can now choose to jack out.
But I will not.
If you want to. I'm not going to res this piece of ice.
Okay.
Which means you'd get one last opportunity to
Now I'm a little worried.
Out.
But I think you were not lying when you told me it was a Rashida Jaheim, and I would like to trash her before you get to use her. So I'm going to continue.
You're going to access?
I am going to access that card. That card is not. It is more points.
It is.
I'll just take them. That's fine for me.
So you might be thinking, well, hang on a minute, Paul. You've got 7 money. You probably could have resed this ice. And if I had have done, it might have kept him out. What possible reason would I have for not spending the money? There's various reasons. These pieces of ice might cost me 9 each to res.
Or you might know that I'd be able to get through them without a problem.
Or something like that. There's a whole host of reasons why I chose to do that.
I did not expect that to be points. What do I do instead?
So that was your first action?
That was my first action. My second one will be...
It might be a very quick game.
Look at the top of your deck.
So you're going to run on R&D?
Oh, I'm not supposed to show you that.
No, it's fine.
But it's not trashable anyway, so you get to
You've seen it?
Wow. Third one. Run on HQ. Always be running. That's what they say.
Okay, so I am going to res this.
Gameplay. Oh
so
no.
This costs 2 to res.
It's red. It's not good for me.
This is, and you may notice that I'm playing Harsbioroid. Harsbioroid cards are generally purple, but you are allowed to add in a certain number of points, usually 15, from other factions. This is a card from a different faction called Jinteki, who are known for sneaky traps and all sorts of stuff. When the runner so it's a barrier. There's 3 types of ice. There's code gates, there's barriers, and there are sentries. And you need particular types of programs, icebreakers, to get through them. It's a strength 1, and it says when the runner passes this ice, you may swap it with a piece of ice from HQ, and if you do, gain 4 money. The new ice is installed unresed, you don't pay the installation cost. But that's when you pass it, but you're not going to pass it because it has one subroutine which says end the run. So whenever the runner arrives at a piece of ice, they either try to break the subroutines or they let those subroutines trigger. Some subroutines are very simple, just end the run, that's it. Some of them are quite nasty. Because Stevie doesn't have any icebreakers, he can't do that. So that was a little risky, because if that was a really nasty piece of ice,
could have dealt damage to me,
could have
taken
dealt
my
damage
cards
to
away,
you.
could have stolen my money.
But as you say, because you've got no programs, no hardware or anything else,
very little to lose in this case.
Yeah.
And this was the most polite run that you can imagine. I've walked up to your front door, I've knocked on it and said, would you like to let me in? And you said, no, thanks. And I said, okay, fine, and I went away. Very civilized criminal activity.
But the thing is, Stevie now knows what that is. So he will be hunting for some kind of way in order to get round that
some kind of way,
ice.
indeed.
And you have 1 action left.
I'll just gain money. Go ahead.
So, start of my turn. I will draw a card, which you've seen.
Yes. He shuffles his hands,
well,
so I don't know what he puts on the table.
Yeah, this is why people think it's a Magic the Gathering thing. It's not.
Well, in
For
this
me,
game, no,
it's
it's
a Netrunner
definitely
thing.
not. Yeah.
So whenever I have a hand of cards in any game whatsoever, I will do that. And it's because 28 years ago I learned that I needed to do that for Netrunner. Okay, so we are in the position where I have hand size of 6. There is nothing in here, so there's no point you running it again. This is actually quite a weak piece of ice that you got enough money. If you had the right card in hand, you could be playing, running, you could be doing all sorts of things.
Yep.
So that alone is not going to keep him out of HQ. I am still worried about R&D, because he can just keep running on R&D and eventually he will find some agendas in there.
Depending on what agenda cards you have in your deck, I could win with the next one I steal.
You could. So, what am I going to do? I am going to... install a second piece of ice on HQ, which costs me 1 credit, and I'm going to take 2 money.
That's not very nice. So I have 4 clicks.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the first one, and I'm actually going to play a card. Oh, shock. I'm going to play Eldorado. That costs 2, but since it is a run event, I'll get 1 back. And this says event run a central server. I'll run HQ.
Central servers are HQ, R&D, and archives. And an event is basically play the card, pay the cost, do what it says, and then bin the card. So Sure Gamble was an event, but this event allows him to actually make a run.
Run a central server. I choose HQ. The first time you encounter a piece of ice during that run, bypass it. Additional text, threat 4. The second time you encounter a piece of ice during that run, you may spend a click to bypass it. Threat 4 is a keyword from some of the newer sets that says if either player has scored 4 points, then it activates. Yes. So now I'll get through the first piece of ice that I encounter, and I can spend a click to get through the second piece of ice that I encounter. Please let me in.
Wow. So the first time you encounter a piece of ice, it is bypassed. And if threat 4, which there is, you can spend a click to bypass the second piece of ice. So if I don't res this, you're through.
Yep.
If I do res this,
you're
through, and then you pay a click to get through that.
But you'll get to use your ability from the Tatu Bola to switch things around.
Because
that's the whole reason you put it in the deck, is so that when I walk past it, you can put something scarier out.
You say it's the reason I put it in the deck. The person who designed this deck put it in the deck. So when you pass this piece of ice, so you'll bypass it, does that count as passing it? It does, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I can swap it with a piece of ice from HQ.
And
new ice. So this goes.
So yeah, that goes back into your hand, and then some piece of ice.
Oh, swap it, yeah.
Some piece of ice from your hand goes there face down, and I don't know what's there.
Well, you've passed it.
Yeah. I will get in this time, but maybe not next time.
So I'm not... This is your first action, isn't it? I'm not going to res that.
Okay.
So you arrive here,
and I'll bypass.
You automatically bypass this with that.
And then you process the win passing thing.
Yeah.
So that happens now.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay. Then I will get to access HQ, which means I get a random card.
I get to steal a card from my hand.
More points.
6 points. You only need 7 to win.
You're a bit flooded, my friend.
Yeah. Blooming criminals.
I'll have to run R&D and see if I get lucky. I did not get lucky.
That's because all of the agendas are here.
Well, let's find out if that's actually true, because I happen to have another Eldorado.
Oh, that's painful.
So we're doing the same thing again.
Okay.
And that's my third click. I do still have 1 left.
Okay. This time...
You better.
Yeah, because then you won't be able to get through.
Oh.
Oh, no. Hang on a minute. What did you do?
This is the same as before.
First action was to play that. Second action was to run R&D.
Third action is to
play that. So you do still have 1 click left.
Have a click. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
We're going to res Ansel 1.0, which costs 6. So you can spend a click to break a subroutine on this ice. So it has 3 subroutines.
So I'll only get to stop 1 of them.
But you're bypassing this anyway.
You're
completely bypassing it.
You're basically resing it to force me to use my last click to get past
that.
Again. So yes,
and
this is done.
Do I want to swap? I don't want to swap.
Okay.
So
maybe I'll find points. I do not find points. You get to live another day. For now, however, I'm done.
Now the good thing is for me, 2 of those you've lost 2 of those cards, and there's a limit of 3 in each deck.
Yes.
For those people who are watching this stream who are potentially interested in getting the game, I would definitely recommend checking out Null Signal Games website, and you can get into the game with a small box of cards, which cost about 20 quid, I think, something like that, which is the system gateway. That is enough for you to start playing. It's got 2 starter decks in it, and you can learn how to play, but you can also print and play. Null Signal Games make all of their cards available, and if you go onto their website, you can download a PDF of all of the cards and print them out and make your own version. And they are totally happy with that. They want to support the game, and that's what they want to do. So yeah, if you're interested and you've got a colour printer at home, yeah, just go online and get the PDFs.
I think they're a little more expensive than 20 because there are so many cards in the box. But for what you get, and you have enough to build decks out of with just System Gateway. So,
Right, let's have a look. So I'm going to draw a card because that's what I have to do. And I am going to spend my entire day gaining money.
Very risky, my friend. I'll get my 4 clicks back. Let's see if I get to win the game just by looking at the top of your deck. So the first click is to run R&D. I'll spend a credit to get rid of her.
Yep.
I'll do it again. Run R&D. Ooh, let's read this one. Oh, I see. I mean, I just want to win the game. So I'm going to spend 4 to trash this Tranquility Home Grid, which you would have liked to have before Rashida, because it makes her even more efficient.
Right.
But I paid to get rid of it, not because I was afraid of you having it, but because it removes the top card of your deck. So I can run R&D a third time, continue digging for points. More trashable stuff. Let's get rid of Amniotic Void. No, I guess that would be Anetic Void. And 4th click. I just moved into your army. I live here now. But I did not find any points. Wow. Wow.
The tokens
really must be all in your hand.
No, the tokens that I'm using are from a company called buythesametoken.com. And I believe your tokens are not available?
Yeah, they're from Team Covenant back in the day. Yeah. There's a ton of custom Netrunner acrylic tokens and stuff in the Etsy universe. Yeah. The game has a lot of love.
You can just use pennies or cubes.
I don't think the current set comes with cardboard tokens.
No. If you buy the pack of cards from Null Signal Games, it's just a box of cards. That's it. You don't get any other bits with it. But yeah, you could just use whatever. You can use pennies.
You do get click trackers. I think on the reverse of some of the cards are click trackers.
Oh yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sooner or later, you're going to get in here. So that
if you leave the door open for them,
absolutely needs to be protected.
Poker chips is great, especially mini poker chips.
Poker chips would work.
Then you already have different denominations for money or different colors for other things that need to be tracked.
So I am going to install a card. We might need to put them maybe over here.
I mean, they're the only cards I have. Oh, look at all my points.
Oh. Yeah, it's not normal for a runner not to have any cards, but that's how it. So I've installed the card there. First action, and I'm going to take 2 money, second and third action. Here we go.
Wowzers. Okay. Why would I ever draw cards when I can just win the game? That's why. All right. Oops. Don't show those away.
Nope.
Let's draw a card.
First action, draw a card.
Let's draw another card. And then let's gain 2 money.
Okay.
I gave you a break this turn.
Yep.
Don't squander it.
I will draw a card, and I will think. I'm going to gain 3 money.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 cards in hand, which I'm allowed to have.
All right. So now it's the time of the gamble. Are you ready for this?
Is it a sure gamble?
No, it's a very risky gamble. It's odds-wise something like a 30% chance to see any given card in your hand, because I'm going to spend my first click and spend all of my money to play Sneak Door Beta.
Yeah. This is the one we were talking about.
Exactly what you were afraid of. It's a program. It costs 2 of my memory units. And it allows me the action to run archives, but to access HQ instead. Yeah. So I'm coming in through the back door.
Yeah, so you're coming in through the back door, and if successful, which it is, you access headquarters instead.
And I'm going to use as many clicks as I need to find the agenda that's in your hand, because it's not limited to once per turn. So I'm going to install it, and then run archives.
Well, yes, but we'll do it one at a time.
Sure.
So you're running archives with the first one.
Yeah. Do as many as I need. Okay. Maybe this is points. It is.
There you go.
Wow.
Right. Well, we'll play again, because that was an unusual game in that
you got flooded.
I got flooded with agendas early on.
How many were in your opening hand?
3.
Okay. And you decided to keep the hand?
No, sorry, 2.
Okay.
and then I mandatory drew, and I got 3. So by my first turn, the ice that I had in hand cost 6. So I'm like,
and out of a 40 card deck, you're like, there's what, 12 or 13 of those cards are agenda. So it is still a quarter of your deck, but
so that's not how a normal game of Netrunner plays.
Oh no, it's not 12 or it's 12 or 13 points you need to have. I think, something like that. So probably only 8-ish cards in your deck were agenda, but you found
I did find a lot of them.
Quite a lot of them early.
Yeah.
That's the problem with agenda cards. They're lighter than the other cards when they print them, so they tend to float to the top of the deck.
Yeah, thought so.
Buoyant. Should we keep the same sides?
I think definitely keep the same sides.
Okay.
I've now seen some of the cards in this deck.
It was a learning experience for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the cards in this deck have a way of getting cards back from the archive. So I think this deck is not that worried about putting stuff in the archive because it can get it back from the archives. But yeah, thank you very much to the person who created this deck. I don't know who they are, but I found it on the internet, and I built it.
Thank you a little bit less to our Gods of RNG.
Yeah. And you installed one card. You did install the program.
I did install a card, yes. I was a dirty criminal with a piece of illicit software.
I mean, I kind of knew that you had that card in there because it's in most criminal decks. It's such a good card.
It's a Hail Mary, really. Yeah. It's a 1-card slot Hail Mary of I'm losing and they haven't defended archives yet and they're being really cagey about their hand.
Even not as a Hail Mary, even as a look, I mean, you're now going to have to protect both archives and headquarters. Otherwise,
drains the corpse resources just by the threat of it, let alone being used once or twice.
And the reason why I didn't res those ice is because that cost 6 and that cost 6. I wouldn't have had enough to do both.
Exactly.
If I'd have stopped you getting in that one, you'd have then run my hand, and I had 3 in hand.
That's exactly what I was doing. I was really just running, hoping that you would spend the money.
Yeah.
Your loss really is my gain. These are different cards.
These are different cards. I am going to keep these cards.
This is a weird... Yeah, I'll keep.
Okay. So I draw a card. And I have 3 actions. I will install a piece of ice in front of headquarters.
Like you do.
You do. And I'll take 2 money.
Alright. I get to actually play cards this time.
Yay!
I'm going to spend all 5 of my money with my first action to play Red Team.
Okay, so that is a resource. So there are 3 types of cards that the runner can put into play. There are programs, which you are limited to 4 memory units worth of programs, and you saw that in the previous game. There are resources, which do stuff, and there is also hardware. Hardware represents physical hardware that you've got. So what does this resource do?
This resource comes with 12 credits on it. So that's 9, 10, 12. And as an action, I can run a central server that I have not yet run this turn. And if successful, take 3 money from this. So this encourages me to run and gives me money at the same time.
Right. Okay, nice.
And I will start doing that. I will use Red Team and run R&D. There's nothing to stop me, so I'll have a look at the card. I'll get some 3 points again. And I'll get 3 money from this resource. So that was my second action.
Is that it again?
If you're not going to stop me.
Pesky runners.
Then I'm going to use my 3rd action to gain a credit. And my 4th action to play another resource called Earthrise Hotel. Costs me 4 money. And this one comes with 3 counters on it. And at the beginning of each of my turns, I'll remove a counter from it and draw 2 cards.
Okay.
Just free draw actions, basically.
Okay.
That was my turn.
I will draw a card because I have to. And you haven't seen this card, have you?
I should have run again, but I wanted to get my Earthrise out.
So I got 6 cards in hand, which is my limit.
And only 4 of them are agenda this time.
Yeah. You've got no money.
Nope.
But you have red team, which is gonna allow you to get money.
Mm-hmm. Question: what is the difference between the startup and standard format? You start with the system gateway remastered, and then you can add all the other expansions.
Yes.
Yeah, so startup is
basically the starter 2 sets, I think.
It is system gateway, system update, which is the most recent sort of base set edition, but that is going to be part of the rotation and go out to make room for a different system update that will come later. And then the previous 2 cycles. So a cycle is 2 sets of cards. So it's sort of the base set plus 2 expansions worth of material. More than enough. I think you still have the choice of maybe 3 or 4 runners per faction and 3 or 4 different corp IDs, 2 or 3 different corp IDs per faction, and a lot of variety there. But it's not, if you compare standard to startup is the last year or so basically, and standard or maybe the last 2 years, and then standard goes back another 3 years. So at this point, if you're looking for cards, it would be almost natural to collect everything into startup and then decide if you wanted to keep going backwards, I think so, to find the stuff.
And the only reason that I'm playing a deck which is from the standard format is that the online website that we use to find decks has loads of them, whereas you won't find that many in the startup format.
I mean, it's a collector's thing, right? The longer you've liked the game, the more cards you have, you're going to prefer the standard format, I think. All right.
I installed a card in front of R&D, and then I gained even more money.
So now you're being the conservative, dastardly corp that I don't like to run against. At the beginning of my turn, I regenerate my clicks. I take a counter off of Earthrise Hotel as mandated and draw 2 cards. Let's see what become of those. I want to break free, as my friend Marcel would always say. Running on archives isn't going to learn me anything, but it is going to give me $3.
It gets you 3 credits for a click.
Yes, so I think we're definitely going to do that.
Okay, so you run an archive, you access all of the stuff in my rubbish bin.
I clean up the dumpster for you. Get the 3 money out of that. I have 5 cards on hand, which is my limit, so I'm not forced to play anything to throw away yet. So I think I will gain a credit, play Sure Gamble. So I went from 3 to 4 to 5 money
to 9,
and then played Sure Gamble and gained 4 more.
Okay.
And that uses up all my credits, and I'm not broke anymore.
I will mandatory draw. I will draw as my first action. I've got 2 actions left.
The world is your cyber oyster.
Interesting. Very interesting. You've got no programs out at the moment. I've got 9 credits. I know that you have a Sneak Door Beta somewhere in the deck, or whatever it's called now.
That is what it's called.
Right.
your economy runs on remote servers and you haven't built one yet.
Yeah. I'm going to take 2 more credits.
Okay.
Which means I have to
play something.
Discard a card.
Oh, interesting.
So whenever I discard a card, it goes into my archives.
And if I haven't seen it, it's still face down.
But it goes face down. So you actually have archives made up of face up cards and face down cards.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And I know you're going to run there because you're going to get the 3 credits.
But you put something there that you don't care about.
Yeah.
Lose the counter from Earthrise and draw 2 cards.
Rachel makes a good point. The format only matters if you're playing a competitive tournament. If you want to play at home, play whatever you want. Literally just go crazy. Play with some original Netrunner cards if you want to. I've still got all my old decks.
I ended up liberating my stuff from Purple-Green Netrunner way back in the day. I think they really hit on a brilliant system, obviously, because that's the part that's survived this whole time.
Yeah.
But the card design back in the original game was very... Cost 1 more strength. Cost 1 more strength. It was very reductive.
And there was a random element as well. There was dice rolling for certain things.
True. I am going to... Man, Blink.
Blink.
Okay, let's not talk about Blink anymore. I am going to use a click to use Red Team and run on Archives.
So you see this.
I'd like to see what that is. That is an operation, which is your version of an event, and it puts in advancement counters on things, which you haven't played anything that can be advanced. So I wonder you didn't care about that. That gives me 3 credits off of Red Team. I can only use it once more. Then I'm going to play... I'm going to spend a click and a credit to play a card called Tread Lightly. It is a run event, so I get that credit back.
Yeah.
It says run any server. I'll choose R&D. During that run, res cost of ice is increased by 3.
So if I res it,
costs 3 more.
Costs 3 more. And this is your second click.
That is true. He cares about that because a lot of HB ice allow the runner to bypass subroutines by spending clicks. So you always want to run earlier in your turn against purple. Yeah, I don't think there would be, for friendly matches and learning the game and sating your hunger for Netrunner, playing FFG cards versus null signal cards still be a good time. There were a couple of years where the balance was a bit out of whack in the FFG days.
Okay, I'm not going to res it.
Not going to res it.
I'm not going to res it.
I'll have in. What do I get? I get a trashable thing. No more Spin Doctor for you, sir.
So that's another card which you see in a lot of decks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it does, but...
It lets you get things from archives and shuffle them back into your deck.
Oh, awesome.
So it lets you bin your archives when you're your agenda when you're flooded and not be as much at risk. It also has some really stupid interactions because if you try to run on it and there's no ice defending it, and then you decide to use it for its ability, the server ceases to exist in the middle of the run.
Oh, right.
And therefore is neither successful nor unsuccessful. And there's a lot of cards in this deck that care about whether or not it was successful or not.
Right.
Anyway, Tread Lightly is done. I saw the Spin Doctor. You lost the Spin Doctor. That makes me happy. I have... I'll spend a click to install a program. I'll spend three credits to install Carmen. Carmen is an icebreaker.
So we've been playing for about an hour or so.
And I've never played an icebreaker.
And a fundamental part of this game
does not happen.
Is the runners installing programs that break through ice.
Yeah, so you've got 3 different types of ice: barriers, code gates, and sentries. Therefore, I have 3 different kinds of icebreakers: killers that defeat sentries. Now I blanked on them.
Yeah.
They have keywords.
They have keywords.
Stuff.
But there's also other ones that can be generic.
And
can break
decoders that
break code gates,
and something else that breaks barriers.
Jackhammers.
Yeah. But anyway, Carmen has a discount if I had a successful run this turn.
Which you did.
Playing her because I ran her archives.
Yeah. And Carmen is a piece of
sentry breaker.
It's a sentry breaker. It can break sentry subroutines.
Yeah. I have to pay money to make her stronger, and I have to pay money to break subroutines, but I'm sure we'll get to that before long. What do I do with this last click? When in doubt, gain a credit.
When in doubt, gain a credit. Right, my go?
Yep.
Mandatory draw. So, now I have a rule question about regions.
Okay.
Because you've seen a region.
Mm-hmm.
I thought regions had to be rezzed when you installed them.
No, I just believe that there can only be one per server.
Right.
That's the...
Maybe I'm thinking of Sansan City Grid, which I think says on it must be rezzed when you install it. Not that I've got a region in hand, just hypothetical question.
Certainly, you can't take advantage of it until it's rezzed, just like any other card.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe you can leave it face down.
Okay, I'm going to draw as my first action.
Lovely.
It's crazy, I know.
Does that give you 7 in hand now?
Yeah.
Desperate times.
8.
8 cards and no ice among them.
8 cards in hand.
And no ice among them.
Red team is still there.
Only one more charge on it, though. Fractors for barriers. Yes, correct.
That's it. Thank you.
This game does love some lore-based keywords.
So, 2 actions left. First action is I am going to install
a region in a remote server.
Here. And my third action is I am going to upgrade R&D.
Okay. Interesting.
So there is an upgrade card in R&D, which you can't see, but it's there. That is an upgrade card on R&D.
Usually we just leave it.
Yeah, that was it.
Usually we just leave it separate, but you want to get it on camera, I guess.
There you go. And I'm down to 6 cards in hand. Your go.
Okay. Let's get those clicks back. Let's draw cards from Earthrise. Now that it's empty, it goes away. Here's a couple of cards. Then let's read our cards because we don't know what they do. Awesome. Where do we go first? Let's run HQ.
Sure.
All right.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to res Bran 1.0. So it's got 3 subroutines, and you can use clicks to break the subroutines. The first subroutine is I can install a piece of ice from headquarters or archives directly inward from this ice, ignoring all costs. And then the next 2 are end the run, end the run. So you can't break them because you don't have a barrier breaker, but you could
click through some of them.
Just spend 3 clicks to break all of them.
I'll spend 2 clicks to break the end the run subroutines.
Okay.
But I'll let you do the other one.
So I can now install a piece of ice from HQ or archives directly inward from this ice, ignoring all costs.
And I'm going to guess that you don't have one, or else you would have played it a long time ago.
I choose not to activate that subroutine.
So then I'd like to look at a card from your hand. How flooded is he? That flooded. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I have 1 click left. Let's play another Earthrise Hotel. 3 counters. Go ahead.
Mandatory draw. Install.
Maybe that was worth running on.
Take some money. I'm going to take some more money.
Angus almost called your turn. He thought you were just going to get 3 credits.
Almost.
Regain my clicks. Process Earthrise Hotel.
A nice card draw if you've got the money.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oof.
Did you get the 3 credits from Red Team?
No, I used.
Because you didn't use.
I should have. I didn't declare that I was. I expected to bounce.
Right. Okay.
No, I should have used it last turn, but I didn't. It would have been much nicer if I had. Let's play the first click legwork, which costs 2, but is a run event, so I get one of those back. And it says run HQ. If successful, access 2 additional cards. And I see Bron.
Yeah.
And I'll do the same thing I did before and spend clicks to stop the end the run subroutines. Allow you to process the other one.
Yeah.
Which you may choose not to do.
Choose not to do. So you're seeing 3 cards.
3 cards out of 5. 1. So this has to happen one at a time, and I would choose to trash each one as I go. And I don't have enough money to trash that. So we'll keep going. Second card is points. And the third card is also points.
Well,
that was a rough one.
It was. Again, this is not how games normally go.
No.
I'm happy for a third go. I'm still learning this deck.
Okay.
But now that I'm seeing more of your deck,
you have an idea of what's
I'm
going
seeing. I mean, I tried to protect HQ, but again, one of the disadvantages with making what is a very good deck is that I have no idea how to play it, and whoever designed this deck might be watching this video and saying, "What an idiot! What are you doing? You're playing it completely wrong."
My guess is that it wants you to be much more aggressive about the draw.
I was doing,
and not be afraid to put things into archive.
I was doing, yeah.
Because you have ways to get them back.
Yeah.
So all of those operations that advance things, or your, I guess you really want to recycle your game money and cards, sysop. But it might be a deck that's rather low on ice. So
it might be.
If you're not drawing aggressively, you're going to be undefended for a lot of time.
At this point, just wanted to tell everybody that, as I mentioned at the start, this video is not sponsored in any way. So I'm able to make videos like this and basically take the day off work to do these sort of things because of the support of the Patreon campaign. So if you like the content that I create and you want to help support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/gaming rules. If you are a Patreon supporter, you get access to the Slack channel, which is a great community where there's lots of discussions and random photos of cats and other things. But also I do some behind the scenes playthroughs. So over the next 2 days, we've got 94 live streams planned, I think. No, I think 7. But a couple of them are going to be Patreon only streams. So certainly the one that I'm doing tomorrow evening is for CGE's new game SETI. That is going to be a live stream, but only for Patreon supporters. And the video will go live in a couple of weeks' time. So if you are a Patreon supporter, you do get early access to some videos. And you also get access to some videos which will never go public.
I'll just chime in to add that the Slack channel is not a benefit to be overlooked. There's hundreds of just absolutely lovely people. It's become something of a digital home for me. Much more civil and supportive and caring than hardly any other community on the internet that I'm a part of. I'm so happy that I signed up, especially when we were all stuck at home.
Yeah.
Because those folks really kept me sane, and we played games together online.
Yeah.
And I met friends that I would travel to go see.
There's a good online gaming community in our Slack channel as well. Yeah. It's really nice. I occasionally do want to play some games online, and I think, I wonder what games are being organised, and I'll go to the online gaming channel and I'll go, somebody wants to play a game of this, it's full. Yeah. What about this? It's full. What about this? It's full. I'm like, okay, maybe next time.
Folks have taken it on their own to run monthly BGA tournaments for other Patreon subscribers. We have people involved in playtesting and showing off early games from famous developers that make it easy to learn and get glimpses into what's going on. Very active discussion about current crowdfunding games. Lots of gentle, sarcastic ribbing about daily events and Paul's misplays. I'm sure there will be some talk about Netrunner today. But no, it's just a fantastic group of people, and I really don't know what I was doing without them. It's really great to be there.
Right. So,
who would keep this hand?
I'm going to keep this hand.
Yeah, I mean, the next one could be worse, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what they always say. All right, go on ahead.
Okay. Cool. Well, since I know you are all about attacking headquarters.
What?
Yeah.
Slander.
I read it in the newspaper. Well, that's awesome.
Things the runner doesn't want to hear.
So first action, I'm going to install a piece of ice in front of HQ. You've seen this before?
Shock, shock, horror.
But this time it's different. Second and third.
What do you think I'm going to do with my first action?
I think you're going to run R&D.
You are exactly right. Still the same.
What? Oh dear. One of those days.
This game brought to you by Off-World Office. We never wanted to work in the first place. I'm going to run...
My R&D department is like, look, this guy just keeps getting in. Why aren't you doing something about it?
More points.
Okay.
Well, what am I supposed to do? You have to follow.
Yeah.
You have to follow the yellow brick road and steal 7 points.
Okay. We'll just write that game off.
That never happened.
That never happened.
That never happened.
I mean, that's 3 agendas on top of R&D, none in hand.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That doesn't count. I'm one of the downsides of the game.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to keep that hand.
Just keep the hand.
I neither played it.
I mean, I should have kept my hand. It can happen like that.
Man, oh man. You're so afraid of me attacking R&D that you didn't defend, or HQ that you didn't defend R&D.
Yeah, I mean, I did have one agenda in hand. But because I know that you're and I didn't have much ice.
I wonder if the small deck size decks have to lean a little bit harder on defending it, because I know that there are some big fortress deck types out there that are just like, you know what, if they find it, fine.
Yeah.
Right? There's so few agenda cards in this big fat deck that the odds of them getting that to happen are very low. This might not be one of them because it's a smaller deck size.
I figured you'd get 1 from R&D, but not 3.
I had 1 good turn. That's what you say. You only need 1 good turn.
Right. So I'm keeping this. I'm drawing a card, and let's do some stuff. Well, I'm going to play Hedge Fund.
Good.
Fancy artwork Hedge Fund.
Yeah.
Which is spend 5 to get 9. I'll draw a card as my second action. And let's protect HQ as my third action. Let's
Are you really going to tempt fate? All right. Let it be known I do this only because I'm forced to.
Last game, and then we're switching sides.
All right. I'm going to spend $4 to get rid of Tranquility Home Grid.
Yeah.
Run R&D again. Probably find an off-world office. Nope. I'll leave that there.
There we go. Right.
Now I'll actually have to play the game.
You will.
I'm going to gain 2 credits. Go ahead.
What have you seen? Oh,
Another
Tranquility Home Grid.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does Tranquility Home Grid sound like a suite of smart devices that turn your lights on and off for you?
Okay, so I will install and res
Fantastic.
Tranquility Home Grid. So it's a region in a remote server. It's an upgrade.
It slices, it dices, it provides credits.
My second action is to install a card in the root of this server.
And then its ability will give you 2 credits on a card.
So I can either gain 2 credits or I can draw a card.
Was it or?
Yeah, I'm gonna gain 2 credits.
Yeah. Great.
That's my second action. And my third action is I'm going to install an upgrade on R&D.
What could that be?
Here we go.
I mean, I guess we'll find out soon. Because we're going to run R&D.
Okay, so in response to you declaring a run, I'm going to res the Manigarm Skunk Works.
Uh-oh.
So whenever the runner approaches this server, end the run unless they either spend 2 clicks or pay 5 credits.
Yikes. And what does it cost to trash?
3.
Okay. So I will pay 2 clicks to not end the run, and then I'll pay 3 credits to make it go away.
And you access the top
and
card.
I'll access the top card of R&D. Hey, look!
It's the Off-World Office.
With 1 click left, I have to run R&D again. I just have to, but luckily for you, the card goes back.
Okay, my go.
Let me double check what it was. Yes, that's what I thought it was. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to res
as expected.
Rashid Jahim at the end of your turn.
Yep.
So, start of my turn.
Draw 3, gain
Trash that, draw 3. Gain 3. And then mandatory draw.
I feel like I should sign this copy for you. You know that this is the one that I've stolen 7 times.
7 times, yeah.
All right. Get my credits. Oh no, you
my go.
still got plenty of things to do.
I've got 3 actions.
Yes. You see the corp fill their hand, and you're like, all right, they've got enough. That's the problem with the corp, though. They keep going even though they have enough.
Yeah. So I'm going to play. First action, I'm going to play Hedge Fund to get 4 more money.
A less fancy hedge fund. Look at me. Penniless. No possessions.
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm going to install a card into here. Because I've installed the card into there. So this is my second action. Yeah, first action was to play Hedge Fund. Second action was to install the card into there, and I'm going to draw a card. And then my third action.
Say it with me, everybody. Install ice at R&D.
Maybe. I'm going to install a piece of ice in front of R&D. You'll go.
Yeah. Well, now I am actually just broke as a joke. I think I'm going to spend my whole turn to gain 3 credits and then play daily casts, which is a lot like the Earthrise Hotel, except it gives me money.
Okay.
So I put
it costs 3, but 8 goes on it.
8 money on it, and I get 2 of them every turn. That was my whole turn.
Mandatory draw.
I've become an online streamer. Something you might know a little bit about.
First action.
Mm-hmm.
Second action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna res this.
Mm-hmm. Another Tranquility Home Grid.
And then I'm going to install a card in it. Getting 2 credits.
Yikes. Well funded. Actually drew ice this time. What am I supposed to do with you? You're all set?
Yeah.
All right, so replenish my clicks. Take some of the money from the daily casts. Let's draw a card. Haven't done that in a while. I'm going to pay a credit and a click playing Forged Activation Orders on this item.
Yeah, so res it or trash it?
Yes, you must res it now and tell me what it is or trash it.
Or res it.
It's not that expensive. So the drafter, if I were to encounter it, it lets you put a card from archives back in HQ, probably a hedge fund or one of those gain 3 ladies. And then also install a card from archives or HQ, ignoring all costs. Definitely one of her. So even though that won't stop me from getting in,
no, it doesn't
I
have an
really
end.
don't want to run there unless I can break it, because that will fuel your economy very, very effectively.
This is one of the things when you're learning the game is a lot of people think that every piece of ice, if you can't break it, it ends the run. That's not true. Most ice does, but there are some ice where you look at the subroutines and it's like, oh, it does this and it does this, but there's no end the run. And that means the runner can just run it, accept the consequences, but then they will get through.
Okay, draw another card. And then I will gain a credit. Go ahead.
Mandatory draw. Okay, so we're going to see something that we've never seen before.
You're going to advance an agenda.
I'm going to advance a card. So for the corporation to advance a card, I have to spend 1 credit.
And 1 click.
And 1 click. And then basically you put an advancement counter, which could be the same thing, on the card.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that could be an agenda. And the way that I score my agendas is that I advancing them for a certain amount. Or there are other things that can be advanced as well. Certain assets can be advanced, and if they're traps, they can deal more damage and everything else. You've played against this deck a few times. You've kind of seen the kind of thing that it does.
It's quite likely that that's an agenda.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything in the last couple of games that is an advanceable asset.
But if you're playing against Jinteki, you need to be very, very careful when they start advancing things, because...
In HB, they have the advanceable trap that deals core damage.
Okay. Nasty.
Yeah.
So, what action was that? I think that was my first.
That was 1, yeah.
That was my first action. My second action is I am going to spend a credit to install a second piece of ice here. And my third action is to advance that again.
Mm-hmm.
You'll go.
Mm-hmm. So it's very likely a 5 difficulty agenda, which is probably going to get you 3 points. I have seen some 5 for 3s in your deck. But you have 2 big pieces of ice there. You have 10-ish credits.
9 now, I think.
And I have no icebreakers in play.
Nope, 10.
So That means we should start by drawing a card. Oh,
you did take the.
I did take this, yes. That's a good card to draw.
That is one of my favourite cards ever in the history of Netrunner. Love it. Criminal's probably my favourite faction to play, just because it's so aggressive and it can just destroy the corpse plans.
I'm gonna play another copy of your favorite card and point at this ice.
Is Inside Job still in the game?
Yes.
Such a good card. So res it or
trash it?
Trash it. Well, I'm gonna res it. It's the Gatekeeper, which has 0 strength, but it has +6 on the turn that I resed it. So this turn, it's got 6 strength.
And it has draw up to 3 cards, reveal up to 3 agendas in HQ and or archives, then shuffle those agendas into R&D. So another way for you to not worry about being flooded. And it ends the
run. This is an old card. This is an FFG card, so this will be cycling out.
Thank goodness.
Next year.
And you're down to 7. Still a lot. Draw another card. Going to play that Estebrado again. So I paid 2 and got 1 back. Running a central server and bypassing the first piece of ice that I come across. The threat 4 part doesn't happen because neither of us have 4 points yet, and we're going to choose HQ.
So if I res it, you bypass it. So there's no point resing it.
Sure.
But what I am going to do is I'm going to res
Spin
Doctor.
Yep.
And draw 2 agenda.
Draw 2 cards. So you're just diluting your hand because there is something there that I want to see. And Spin Doctor has the second ability that you can remove it from the game to shuffle some cards from archives back into R&D, but you probably don't care about that yet.
From archives back into R&D.
Yeah. So I'm probably getting in, it looks like.
I'm not resing this.
Okay. Then I will happily take a peek at something. How lucky can you get, folks? This lucky. Nope. That is a seamless launch. That was my 4th click.
Okay. So mandatory draw. And I will spend.
Click, click, click.
1 action, 2 action, 3 action.
Oh no!
So for the Corp to advance an agenda, I need to get a certain number of advancement tokens on it.
Score it.
She says 5. To score it, I get 3 points. This is one that has an additional cost for you to steal it.
I probably wouldn't have been able to take it anyway. So, must spend a click and 2 credits to steal it. Got it.
So
no additional benefit for you other than the 3 points, but I'm sure you're happy to
I've scored an agenda. It's only taken 4 games.
And that was all 3 of your turns.
Yeah, and I got 6 cards in hand, which is fine.
So I'll get these back. Get these monies. And we're going to spend 2 and get 1 back to play legwork and run on our HQ while you have the least amount of money you've had in a long time. Maybe I'll get stopped. Oh, I'll get stopped. Oh, it's a draft.
It's another drafter.
Interesting. Okay. So it's not going to stop me from getting in, but it's going to do its stuff because I can't break it.
Teams. So I can add a card from archives to HQ.
Further diluting that HQ. So now 7 cards there. I still get to see 3 of them.
I took that.
Okay. Which one was that again? Well, that was the thing that you put here. I have to spend a bunch of money. Yeah. Yep.
And I can install a card from archives or HQ, ignoring all costs.
Pretty good.
So I'm going to install. Now, which action is this? This is your first action.
Yes, that's true.
You have 3 credits.
You should be afraid of my 3 credits. So do you bury an agenda in your remote server? That's the question.
Install a card from archives or HQ, ignoring all costs. When is, and this is a rules question for anybody who's watching, unless you know, when is approaching a server? Is it,
that is after I've passed the last piece of ice
and
stated that I do not want to jack out.
That's approaching. I thought approaching was here.
right before I access it. Basically, your last window to res things to mess me up.
So what I could have done is I could have installed that card which I put in hand, rather than taking it from archives to HQ. I could install it into here.
Mm-hmm. Sure. The problem is you can't pay to turn it on.
Right. Okay.
Which is why you didn't do that.
Okay. Yeah. That is why I didn't do that. Okay. So approaching a server is not this. It's this.
That's yes, the server itself.
I thought that was something else. Okay.
Each card here, the ice is approached, and that's the do you want to res something and do I want to check out
approaching the server is
and then
right.
I'll approach this piece of ice and then I'll approach the server.
Got it.
That's the way I
so
understand.
Install a card from archives or HQ, ignoring all costs. So not the cost to res it, but the cost to install it.
Correct. So you can have a third ice here and not have to pay the 2 money.
I'm going to install a card here.
Yep.
And I'm going to get 2 money.
Yep.
For doing it because of the Tranquility Home Grid.
Yep. Okay.
And then you're in.
And then I get to see 3 of your 6 cards. But the agenda that you didn't want me to steal has now been placed safely in that remote server.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry, we skipped. When you scored an agenda, you were supposed to get a card out of archives, but your hand was full.
So I would have put it back in.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
Okay, thank you for reminding me.
Card number 1.
I think Angus has said. Scoring trigger HQ. Yes, I've got.
Yeah. Number 2. Also something I can't trash. Number 3. 3 different cards I can't trash. So you well convinced me that there's nothing to see in HQ for the moment. Goes away. That was unfortunate. But I didn't spend any money, and I didn't get my brain beat in. I guess the question is how fast are you going to be able to finish that card? You do have the successful launch. Was there a copy of that still in here? What did that cost?
Seamless launch costs 1.
And puts 2 counters on a thing that you didn't
install this turn. Yeah.
So you could do a 4 for 2 next turn, because that would be 2 counters, 3 counters, 4 counters. Okay, so you're probably scoring that, and it's probably an off-world's office, so you're going to get a bunch of money and then be loaded up again. So I'm on the back foot all of a sudden. I will draw a card with second click. I'll draw a card. Yes, no. I'll draw a card with third click. And I'll pay 3 to install Carmen, because I made a successful run this turn. She's cheaper.
Carmen is the central breaker.
That is correct.
So can't get through this.
Yeah, but I can start to break your drafters.
But it's going to be expensive.
Maybe.
Really expensive. Because she's only strength 2, these are strength 3.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Mandatory draw?
Yep. Are you doing it? Did I call it?
What's that?
That's another off-world office, and you're gonna score it.
Who knows? Who knows?
I guess the fact that you're looking at the cards in your hand so intently means that I was wrong.
Take a credit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put another card in here.
Okay. That's the upgrade that you just got back from archives.
And I'm going to take 2 credits for that. And my third action...
Oh, that works on upgrades as well? Wow, that's awesome.
Is when you install a card in the root of the server. So
the first time each turn. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's new this turn. Cool. Awesome.
Take some more money. Here we go.
All money. All money all the time. So that's a 5 for 3 then. And the last money from daily casts, which means my streaming career is for now over. Let's draw a card. Where's my money going to come from? Let's gain a credit. another credit. And let's install Ice Carver, which is a virtual resource that says all of your ice is -1 strength.
All of my ice is -1 strength.
Yes.
Boo.
That is my whole turn, though, and I'm left with 1 shilling to my name.
Okay. Manage to draw.
Might actually have to break into a real server someday.
I'm going to put 3 advancement counters on that, and I'm going to score it.
Oh.
So this is a 2-point agenda that there's a limit of 1 per deck.
Mm-hmm.
But when I score it, I gain 3 actions.
Wow.
But I cannot score agendas for the remainder of the turn. So I've got 3 actions.
Mm-hmm. I say wow. I mean, that seems good enough to be in just about every purple deck.
So 1.
Mm-hmm.
She gives me 2 credits.
Mm-hmm. Don't like this.
Now, I could pay 2 credits to install that.
Or you could.
Or I could just trash this and make it cheaper.
Yeah, you can always trash the.
But that's okay for the moment because you don't have a code gate breaker out. So
do not have
one. I will pay.
Mm-hmm.
So I gain 3 actions.
Mm-hmm.
First, second, third. Here we go.
Where's my daily chance money? It's all gone. All right. This is where the speedster might be outpaced. But you have 5. So
I have 5 agenda points. And did I forget to do the thing again?
I think you did forget to do the thing.
I forgot to do the thing again.
I mean, if you wanted to... Did you gain a credit with one of those actions? You should have just played a hedge fund.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Where do I go first? Draw a card. Too little, too late. Gain of money. Gain another money. And then we spend 2 to play legwork and get 1 back. Run HQ. And I have now... we actually get to do the icebreaker versus ice.
We get to do the thing.
Yeah.
So you do have an icebreaker that can break this.
And
the ice carver is making its strength 2, which is equal.
So if I wasn't at enough strength, I'd have to use the abilities on the icebreaker to make it stronger. But I do have parity here. So instead, it says here, interface, spend a credit to break a sentry subroutine. So
if you wanted to.
I definitely want to.
Okay.
I want to spend these 2 credits to break your 2 sentry
So I don't get to do that, and I don't get to do that.
Correct. So now I'm approaching HQ, and I will continue on, and I would like to access 3 cards. Because if that's a 3-point agenda, or even a 2-point agenda, you've won the game next turn. So I didn't have time to do anything else. 1, I cannot trash it. 2, cannot trash it. 3, cannot trash it. All right, I think you might have won 1. If that's actually points. If that's, what's her name? Then you don't have points waiting for you.
Yeah.
With the seamless launch and all that money, you should be able to do it.
Seamless launch.
Yeah.
Spend 1 to put 2 counters on it.
Mm-hmm.
As first action.
Mm-hmm.
Second action, seamless launch.
Oof.
Spend 1, Put 2 counters on it. Third action, advance it.
Yep.
Score it.
All right. Got it done.
Yeah.
I had 2 more copies of that Vibrato in my hand, and the reason it's so good and comparable to Inside Job, but still fair, is that I can only use it to run centrals.
Right.
So I can't, once you put the stuff here, and that turn where you're able to actually use the drafter and then install your agenda there, so I couldn't find it. Yeah, that was the biggest luck. But
biggest difference for me in this game is, slight luck factor, is that I had 1 agenda in hand at the start and didn't draw another one for a while. You didn't get 3 off the top of the deck, and I managed to install some cheap ice. So I was able to protect myself.
The 1 in a million chance didn't happen. Yeah. The other sort of 1 in 100 chance didn't happen, and now we're in the realm of normalcy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. It's interesting. Right. Okay. So we're going to switch sides, and I've got another deck that somebody else made for me that I have no idea how it works.
This is good for me because this is my advantage. You have to learn as you go.
Yeah.
And I have a... Oh, don't forget that one.
Yeah, you sure you don't want that?
I should take it home with me at this point, yeah. It's more mine than yours now.
So I'm now playing Captain Padma Isbista, who is a cyborg. The first time each run on R&D begins, I may charge one of my installed cards by adding a power counter to a card that already has one. So if a card already has a power counter...
And usually the runner cards don't use power counters.
No.
But there was a whole, subset of them in the last few expansions that included those options. I'm also playing Hospiroid. I'm just playing a different version of it. So this is Mirror Morph. It is not a small deck identity. And this is a bit tricky. So if the first, second, and third actions I take on my turn are different from each other, then when the third action completes, I either get a credit or I can take an action that I have not yet taken.
Nice, okay.
And spend 1 click less. So I get a 4th action if I can do 4 different things on my turn.
Okay.
And so different is drawing a card as an action, gaining a credit is an action, installing a card anywhere counts as a kind of action. So I can't put an ice here and an ice there and count that as 2 separate ones, and I can't put an ice here and install a thing in a server and count that as 2 different ones. And playing any operation from my hand
is an action.
And
there is one more action that we haven't seen.
Advancing no, we've seen advancing.
No, there's one more.
Oh, clearing with virus stuff.
And another one.
Virus counters.
Yeah, virus counters.
Yeah.
But also tagging. So we've not seen this yet, but there is a mechanism within the game where the Corp can find out some personal information about the runner's private identity, which is called a tag.
Maybe just an IP address.
Yeah. And if the runner is tagged, the Corp has other options which it can do. And one of those options, it can spend 2 credits and an action to trash a resource. But generally speaking, the Corp decks that are designed to tag the runner
are doing much worse things.
Will have a way of doing it. And in the original Netrunner, there was an amazing card called I've Got a Rock, which is basically you get an asteroid from Earth, from orbit, and smash it down on the runner's house. It cost you 3 agenda points to play the card, but it did 15 meat damage.
Yep.
Even if you were in 2 armored fridges, you would still be...
Yeah, I think the calling in a hit squad is the most common thing to do with the runner when they're tagged. Though there are some NBN decks that will sort of hyper accelerate based on the number of tags that the runner has.
So this deck is going to be slightly different from the one that Stevie plays. Stevie played a blue criminal deck, which is generally about attacking the ice, bypassing, getting into HQ. This is a shaper deck, all sorts of different things in this deck. As far as the corporations go, there are 4 different identities. Well, no, there are 4 different factions, and within each faction there's multiple different identities. So Stevie is playing Harsbioroid, which was the same one as I played, so you're going to see some similar cards. You're not going to see Jinteki today. That is the one that deals lots of nasty traps and damage and things like that. Because you've not seen damage. There is damage in this game as well. The runner can take damage, and whenever the runner takes damage, I lose a random card from my hand, and if I ever take damage and I don't have any cards in hand, I'm flatlined. That's it. I'm dead. So yeah, there's a lot more to this game than you've not seen.
I think there's a significant amount of differentiation between our stuff. So I feel like a reverse match. So if it's all right, I'll keep my money over here.
Yeah,
I'll just use the identity to represent HQ. Make sure these things are. That's probably enough. 1, 2.
Right, let's have a look at these cards. No idea.
Yeah, I'll keep.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this.
All right. Then
okay.
My first action.
So mandatory. No.
It's a mandatory draw. I get to say that.
You get to say that. I just realised I've got some poker chips there.
My first action is a hedge fund.
Nice.
I gain $4.
Always nice to see that in your starting.
Second action is a hedge fund, which is a little busted to see 2 of them in one go. So I gain another $4. Let's see, 5, 10, 13 money. This is the way the corp wants to live. And the third action is to play red level clearance. So I will not get my free action this turn because I've done 3 operations.
Yeah.
Red level clearance is an operation that lets me choose 2 of the following 4 options.
Okay, cool.
Draw 2 cards, gain 2 money, install a card that is not an agenda, or gain a click. So I will draw 2 cards. That's the first half of that. And I will install a non-agenda card as the second one. And I'll put that.
Excuse me.
In front of HQ. All right. That's my 3 actions. I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is spend 2 credits and play Dirty Laundry. I might borrow some of these if that's all right.
Yeah, fair.
Just to track my 4 actions.
So Dirty Laundry is a run event.
Yep. So run any server. I'll run R&D.
And then if it's successful, you get some money.
Okay, I do. Oh, it's an off-world. No, it's not. it's a spin doctor, which I am going to trash.
Okay.
It costs 2. But then at the end of the run, because it was successful,
you gain 5.
I gain 5.
So you ended up net 1 up.
Net 1 and got rid of spin doctor.
Yeah,
which is nice. Second action, I'm going to install a telework contract.
Okay.
So when I install it, I put 9 on it.
Take 3 from it, but only once per turn.
Yeah. And as my third click, I will take 3 from it. And then as my fourth click, I'm going to spend 1 to play Creative Commission, gain 5. And if I had any clicks remaining, I would lose 1.
It's a terminal operation.
I don't. So
you're just as loaded as I was.
I'll have one of those.
Holy crap.
Yeah, this is a big money game. Here we go.
Mandatory draw. It's this thing that you could have seen, but you didn't want. So first click is draw a card. Second click is installing and resing nanoteching matrix. So this is another money thing. So it's free to res, and I can spend an action to gain 2 and only use it once per turn. It looks a lot like your telework contract. And my third action is to use it.
When I trash it,
when you trash it,
you may gain 2. So I spend 3 and you lose 2.
So I've now done 3 different things on my turn. I drew a card, installed, and used the nanoteching matrix. So I get a 4th action to do a thing that is different from my other actions. And that will be to install this piece of ice.
Okay. Well, I've got something that I should have done last time. I'm going to install a program. It's going to be Parisia. So Parisia comes with 2 counters, which represent reusable credits. So I can use these to trash cards. And they come back at the start of each turn. So I installed that. I will then run R&D.
Okay. You're welcome to have a look.
And I will spend those two and that one to trash.
Okay.
That one, which we've seen.
Skunk works. Yeah.
Got loads of money, haven't you? I'm going to take 3 credits from there, and I'm going to draw a card.
Okay.
You'll go.
Clicks back. Draw. Let's draw a card. Let's install. Costing 1. And let's click my gain money ability. So that's 3 different actions, and I can do another one that is different from those 3 or gain a credit. So I will gain a credit.
Roll them. Those 2 credits come back. So.
Status chips.
First action, I'm going to draw a card. Second action, I'm going to run R&D.
All right.
Third action, I'm going to take the remaining credits off there. And the fourth action, I'm going to play a virus. So this is a program, takes up 1 memory unit. It's a virus. Now, most viruses in this game have virus counters on, and they do things depending on how many virus counters are on them. Not this one. This has no virus counters on it. This just has a permanent effect. You cannot score agendas on the turn that you install them. Now, the way that the corp can get rid of all virus counters is by spending 3 clicks. And if you do that, I lose this program.
Yep.
So the way to get rid of this virus is by purging viruses. So, now I don't know if you are the kind of person who is going to be scoring agendas on the same turn as you install them. Probably like not.
Speed dating.
But
mandatory draw. We're gonna install a card. That's 1 action. We're gonna play the 3rd and final hedge fund, gaining another 4.
More money.
As the 2nd action. We're gonna draw a card as a 3rd action. Because those have all been the same, I can do a different one, which means I can't draw a card or install a card with that action. So I will click the nanoteching matrix and get even more money.
2 more money.
So we're at 22 now. Which I think is the point where I could literally rip any ice in the game.
Yeah. I go?
Yep.
First action, I'm going to draw. Second action, I'm going to run R&D.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, I am. Second action.
Okay.
R&D. Third action, I'm going to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm now drawn a card that's clearly part of the fundamental way that this deck is designed to work.
Too much text means important card.
Oh, wow. Okay, I think I know how this works.
Uh-oh.
Fourth action, I'm going to draw a card.
Light dawns on yonder head. Done?
Yeah.
All right. Get my mandatory
Okay.
draw. Let's install a card.
This is the worst situation for a runner. Face down ice.
Tons of money.
Rich cool.
Check what I played. Yeah, so that was installed one card. Installed a second card. Have to spend 2 on that. The third one will be advancing. So I've spent the money and put that there. And I've done multiple of the same install actions, so I don't get any freebies.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, may need some help with the rulings on this, because it's been a while since I played.
Sure.
But my first action is to install self-modifying code. So it's a 2-memory unit program, so
You're at 4.
full.
Yep.
But it has an ability that I can spend 2 credits and trash it, and I believe I can do that in the middle of a run.
Yep. That's exactly what it's meant to do.
Yeah. So my first action was to install the self-modifying code. My second action is to run R&D.
That could open over there. Sure. Spend 6 to res Braun 1.0. We've seen him before. So you can spend clicks to break his subroutines. He will let me go find something and install it just inward of him. To go find something? No, install something from HQ just inward of him, and then he tries to break the run a couple.
So we activate the self-modifying code, spend 2 money, I trash it, and I basically search for a program
that can break sentries and
and install it.
Yep. So you're looking for a fractor. Hopefully one that's powerful, because this guy's a 6 strength. Good old corroder.
Who knows what's in here?
The deck designer does.
Yeah.
Propeller. Interesting. Is a fractor. When you install it, it gets 4 power counters, which is what she plays it
So
on
I install it at the cost of 1.
Oh, and you use the power counters to strengthen it.
And it has 4 power counters on it. Let's use
the blue ones.
Water.
So you could spend 3 of those to bring it up to strength 6, and then spend the money to break a subroutine on my barrier. So it would cost you 3 power counters and 3 money. But again, you can use clicks to break some of those if you like. But I don't think you would have used the SMC to go get the fractor if you planned to just spend a click.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so we'll use 3 of these power counters to make it strength 6.
Mm-hmm.
So it is now the right strength.
Mm-hmm.
And I will spend 3 credits to break all of the subroutines.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then it looks like you're in. She would have worked if you had this in play when you started the run.
Yeah.
But since you played it in the middle of the run, it didn't.
I realised that.
Didn't trigger.
But that's
all
fine.
right. You didn't know what you needed.
Nope.
All right. Well, then, welcome to R&D. How can we help you?
He's up to no good. He was about to start working on a Cyberdex sandbox.
Sounds...
The first time each turn you purge virus counters, gain 4 money. And when you score this agenda, you may purge virus counters. That's awesome. Well, how about that? Thank you, please. Let's put him over here with the octopus. That's my 2 points. Right. So we installed self-modifying code and we ran.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, you don't have enough counters to come in.
Third action, I'm going to install Simulchip. As an additional cost to use this hardware. Or install this hardware. Have a look at that. I think I just heard a knock at the door. I'm just gonna see some of these there.
Yep. Package arrival. Probably something to be streamed soon. You showed up at just the wrong time, Lucas, because I was winning quite a lot early on, and now I'm not so sure. I think it was unannounced, though. We knew we were going to do this at some point the weekend, but exactly when, we weren't so sure. So we've played 3 games now, I think. And one that didn't count, so those are already on the stream. I've played my Crim Ken Tenma deck against his HB a few times already. That went hilariously, and now I'm playing my own HB against his Shaper. It is a little chilly in here.
Yeah, it was enough at the door. Right. So
what the ability there says, trash this and trash another program to go get something out of the discard pile. And then the other effect there says, if you've already trashed a program this turn, which you have, you used SMC.
Yeah.
You can ignore the trashing another program part.
Yeah, so I thought it was an additional cost to install it, but it's not.
No,
it's an additional cost to use it.
So basically what it does is it lets you get SMC back because you used SMC this turn.
Which I don't want to do.
Well,
because I haven't got the
memory units for it.
Yeah.
Well, you could bring it back. You just have to give up one of these other things because you'd be over your memory limit. Or you could not play that this turn. But this is the turn to try to take advantage of it because having trashed SMC gives you that discounted ability.
Yeah. And it's not an action to use it.
No.
So what I'll do is I will spend 3 credits to play Anycam.
Okay.
Which is a console, it's a hardware console, which gives me an extra memory unit, so I can have 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can install it for free.
Then you can trash this to get SMC back, and you have enough memory units to do so, yes.
So I trash that to install this.
Trash the simul chip to install the SMC.
A discount of 3. Yeah. But this is 0.
Yeah, so the money discount part doesn't matter.
But normally, to use it,
you'd have to
I
trash,
have to trash something else.
Yes.
Mm.
So normally this says trash a program to get a program from your heap, but since you've already trashed a program this turn, it's just play a program from your heap.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why they didn't word it of trash, install a program from your heap paying 3 less.
If you
did not trash a program this turn, you must. Yeah. Okay.
Who knows?
It's just weird that that's there. I don't know whether it's worth doing that.
Well, SMC is very good,
but I'm going to do it. So I'm now at 5 memory units, which is my maximum, and
Simul chip is in the bin.
That is in the bin. Okay.
That was 4 things. Because you installed SMC, you ran, you installed the Simul chip, then you installed the console and used the Simul chip.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
So let's go back up to 3 clicks.
Lucas has joined us. Morning, Lucas.
Draw.
This wasn't a... I mean, it was always planned that we were going to play Netrunner this morning, but I didn't advertise the stream, I didn't schedule it or anything like that, because I didn't know what time we were going to do it. I think I prefer playing Runner because playing Corp is too stressful. Knowing that I'm being attacked and somebody's going to get in. Whereas, yeah.
I'm going to play Subliminal Messaging, which says I gain a credit, and the first time I play Subliminal Messaging every turn, I get a click back, so it doesn't actually cost an action.
Okay.
And then it says at the beginning of my future turns, if you did not run on your turn, I can pick it up out of my discard pile for free. So basically, every turn you don't run, I'm going to gain money.
Right, okay.
So that's the first click that isn't a click. The second thing is going to be to draw a card. The third thing is going to be to install a card here. So now I've done 3 actions that were different.
All different?
Yeah. I played an operation, I drew a card, I installed a thing. So now Mirror Morph kicks in at this point, even though I have a click left to let me do something that is different from those other things. So I will use that to advance this face down card. And now I go back to my regularly scheduled turn, and I have 1 click left, which I believe I will use to use my nanoteching matrix. Get $2 because I'm a little dry at only 12.
Need more memory units. Don't know why I played that. I don't think that's useful against your deck.
Well, then I have a suggestion on how you can get more memory units.
And draw a card. First action, draw a card. Interesting. Don't quite fully understand how this card would be useful.
Which means it's a master stroke of inclusion.
It is. So I'm pretty sure that's an agenda, and I'm pretty sure it's a 5 for 3 that you're going to score on your next turn.
I'm giving you no reason to believe that that's true.
Getting in is going to be tricky. And with you having 14 credits, as long as... Even if you spend 11, you can still score it on your next turn. I used an action to draw a card. So...
As you were saying, runner's not that stressful.
Less stressful. It's still very stressful, but the stressful part is you're running unknown information and I don't know what it is.
The good kind of stress.
Need more money. Definitely need more money.
You need to get those contract works back.
The telework contracts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. Okay, second action, I'm going to draw a card. Okay, third action, we're going to run on here.
Right.
Then again, your HB, I should have run as the first.
It's happening. Well, we're definitely going to res the first thing, which is the wave. Costs $2. When I res it, I can search my deck for a piece of ice and reveal it and add it to HQ.
Okay.
And do I know what I'm looking for? Not really. I think I'm going to get a copy of Eli 1.0.
Okay. So I cannot choose to jack out at this point because I have hit it, which means you get 1 credit for each resed piece of harmonic ice, which is that one.
Just the one, yes. Now you
and
can
then
choose
I
choose
to jack out if I want to. And I'm not going to. We are going to approach the next piece of ice.
Next piece of ice is bloop.
Bloop.
Costs 3. As a cost to res it, I must de-res another piece of harmonic ice. And now it has 3 subroutines. They want to do a core damage, trash a program, and trash a program. It is a sentry, though.
It is a sentry.
So maybe...
How is it a strength 5 sentry, but only 3?
And
because you've got to de-res something.
It just happens to be something that gives me a benefit every time I res it.
So the core damage I can take, but trashing installed programs is going to hurt. So I will activate the self-modifying code.
Okay.
See what we find that can deal with that.
What's her name? Black Widow would do it.
Mm.
But I don't think you have enough money.
It costs 9, I think, Black Widow.
Yeah.
Don't think it's in the deck.
And it's out of factions. So.
It's a revolver.
Does it use power counters? I bet it does. Yeah.
So it comes with 6 power counters.
Yeesh. And you've got to pay to make it stronger, but then you can use the power counters to break subroutines.
Yeah.
I still think you might be boned.
So its default is strength 1, so I have to use
2 money to gain 3 strength.
Oh, so it's power counters to break the subroutines.
Yes. These are your bullets. You still need those for strength. So I think you're short money.
That's a shame. I am short by 1 strength.
You might, knowing that ahead of time, decide not to activate
self-modifying code
because I'm surely going to destroy that with bloop if I get the chance. Do you have a different target for SMC that might help, or is that your only sentry breaker?
I think that's the only sentry breaker.
You might have an AI breaker. They can break anything, but they're usually fragile or one-shot kind of things. Unfortunately, not enough gun.
Okay, sad.
So you're not going to be able to break it.
Nope.
Well, then we do a core damage. That means you get to wear this little shiny red hat for the rest of the game. Your hand size, because it's core damage, your hand size will be reduced by 1. And I'll pick something at random out of your hand that you didn't really want in the first place, like this pinhole threading.
Yeah. The one I wasn't quite sure about.
All right. And then
Trash the program, trash the program.
Yeah, let's get rid of Propeller, and let's get rid of SMC. I haven't stopped the run, though, yet. You can continue going if you like.
Sure.
Let's see what... yeah, we'll pay this. This is 3 credits to res Pulse. When you res this during a run against this server, the runner loses a click. And then it says the runner loses a money for each resed piece of harmonic ice and end the run unless the runner spends a click.
Oh.
So it is a code gate. You don't have a code gate breaker.
Nope.
You don't have an SMC. So you're going to lose
2 credits.
2 credits, and then the
Boom.
run will be ended.
Okay, here we go.
Right.
Well,
I survived. But I did spend most of my treasure.
Harmonic ice.
Mandatory draw. Let's do... Yes. So first click is going to be advancing the agenda. Second click is going to be playing Seamless Launch to add 2 more agenda counters, advancement counters. We'll score it. It was a 5 for 3. It has a lot of text, but it has no ability if I score it. It basically says if you score it, the points don't count for some time.
Okay.
Third action will be to click my nanoteching matrix. So now I've done 3 different things on my turn, and I can do a 4th thing that is different from those 3, which will be to install a card. Your turn.
So first action, I'll play Diesel.
Give them cards. Yeah, this is the hump. I've built the server. I've kept you out once, but now you know what you need to break into.
Yeah. Problem is, I've lost my stuff.
I also feel like playing on stream is interesting because I felt like the crowd was with me when I was playing the runner, and now they're definitely with you.
Oh yeah,
when you're playing the runner. The corp is always bad. Just for personal application.
Run somewhere, access something else, but can't score it. Seemed...
I guess it's an information gathering thing.
Yeah.
Because you want to run on R&D to charge things.
I do.
And this gives you information about remotes. So it still makes sense in the deck.
So my second action is I am going to run on here.
Would you like to trash it?
I am going to trash it with those 3, and then you gain 2 credits.
Yep.
Trashing it. Third action is I'm going to play Stone Ship Chart Room, which is a resource that I can trash to draw 2 cards or trash to charge one of my installed cards. And unfortunately, I think I'm just going to have to gain a... Oh, because if you don't run... Oh, no, I did run.
You did run.
I did run. So I'm going to gain a credit.
Do you have more than 4 cards in hand?
I have 4 cards in hand.
Okay. I'll get my clicks back. Mandatory card. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to install something. And then I'll res it. Another nano-taking matrix, which I will use, giving me 3 different actions across the turn. So I get a 4th one that is different from those 3, which is going to be advancing this card. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll do the same thing again. Run it, get rid of it.
2 for the trouble.
Second action, I'll draw a card. Should have drawn a card first. Get any credit. Get any credit. Discard.
Oof. That would have been nice to use. All right.
Yeah.
Get these back. Draw. Let's go advance. So this now has 3. That's what it needs. Mega Pre-Qualifier. It's a 3-for-1, and if there's another copy of Mega Pre-Qualifier that has been scored or stolen, then it's worth a second one.
Okay.
Right now it's 4 points for me, so anything that says threat 4 is active. And the third action is installing a card. And I've done something multiple times, so I don't get a 4th action.
Right. So, what are we going to do? Okay. Yeah, I can now see the pinhole threading would have been useful. Alas.
How would you have used it?
I could have run archives and looked at that. The first time each turn an event is trashed from any location, draw a card. Interesting.
That includes playing an event.
Yeah, but what about me discarding it? That's trashing it, isn't it?
I think so.
But then we end up in a loop.
It's the first time.
Yeah, but then what happens then? Am I then over my hand size, so I have to discard again?
Yeah.
That seems odd.
I think so.
If anybody in the chat knows how that works, Annie Cam says, the first time each turn an event is trashed from any location, draw 1 card. And at the end of my turn, if I'm over my hand size and I have to trash a card, does that trigger?
I know it's considered trashed when it's played.
Yeah.
But in the chat, perhaps not considered trashed when it's discarded. Would also be considered trashed if it was pinged because of damage.
Yes.
Which means that you probably should have drawn one when I pinged
pretty sure it's not considered trashed when it's discarded. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
I'm happy to let you draw a card or 2 and have discarded back down again.
No, it's fine.
Because you missed out on those. You played that well before.
No, that's the first one. I've not played any events.
the core damage here.
Yep.
Got rid of that pinhole threading, which trashed an event.
Oh.
So you would have drawn a card at that
Yeah,
moment.
okay.
So at the very least, if you want to draw one and then have discarded back down again, you at
did
least
did forget that, didn't we?
a little bit of a retcon.
Okay.
Friendly games.
Sure.
Give people retcons.
Okay, right. I am going to run on here.
Okay.
Because I'm crazy.
Sure. I mean, you might even get in. I will res it, costing 2, letting me go find something, put it in my hand. Get. We're gonna go get this thing called Echo.
Okay. And then you gain 3 credits.
Yes, because there's 3 pieces.
I don't break it.
Harmonic ice, and then you see the bloop.
Yep. So I take another core damage.
Okay, we just don't care today. Why not? Let's get rid of that. It is not an event.
Not an event.
And then trash some programs. I'll trash your 2 existing programs. And then we hit the pulse, and you're not going to try to break the pulse.
Nope.
So you lose 3 credits. Then you can spend a click to get in. Would you like to do that? That's yours.
Hey, it's an off-world office.
Both of us at 4 points.
Yes. Okay, right. I will. Run H. No, I'm going to take a credit. I suddenly realised that you still have loads of credits. And then I will play Creative Commission to gain 5.
Yep. And because you're trashing it, you draw a card.
Here we go. Comprehensive rules 1.19. Discarded cards are not considered trashed. Thank you.
All right.
Otherwise, weird.
I should play all my games with a live audience. Rules up.
Yeah.
Mandatory draw. Let's install a card. Let's draw a card. Let's gain a credit, giving me a 4th action, which I can't use to do anything that I've done before, or I can use it to gain a credit, so that's what I'll do. Now, my hand is over full. I have to discard 2. Go ahead.
First action, I'll play Sure Gamble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 credits. And it's the first time each turn.
Yep.
So I get
draw
a
card. Yep. Makes those all a lot better. You probably missed it when you played the Diesel earlier, too.
Yep. Second action, self-modifying code. Third action will run.
Okay. What you see is what you get. So I don't get to do the first block of text because it's already rezzed. I'm going to gain 3 credits. Second time we hit the bloop, and I'm going to try to break it this time.
We'll self-modifying code that.
Maybe some revolver action. And all 6 of those power counters come back, and it would cost you 4 credits and 3 counters to break all of the subroutines.
Yeah, so we boost the revolver up to 7 strength.
Use 3 of the 6 counters.
Yeah.
So you've defeated Bloop, and we move on to Pulse. Lose a credit, so you would lose 3. And then end the run unless you spend a click. And as you are here, before you access this, I'm going to res it. It's a Spin Doctor. When I res Spin Doctor, I draw 2 cards.
Bad times.
and then I can remove the asset from the game to shuffle 2 cards back into RT. So I'll do that.
Sad times.
Let's get 2 nanotech. No, let's get a nanotech matrix and a spin doctor back. But thank you for spending all those resources.
That's all right. It's the money. Yeah, I don't have the money to get through again now. But okay.
All right. Draw. We're gonna play subliminal messaging.
Did Paul get an honorary point as Corp?
I
did win a game. Yeah,
you even won a game.
I won the last game.
Yeah.
We played until I won.
And then we said we're never going to do this again. Second action. Install a card. Third action. Draw a card. Now I've done 3 different things, even though I have 1 left because one of them was subliminal messaging. So I get to do something I haven't yet done, which is going to be resing and using the nanotech matrix back up to healthy $20. And with my last click, will spend 3 to make the big server even bigger.
Wow.
I'm over full on my hand, so let's discard. Go ahead.
Well. I will spend my first click to gain a credit. I will spend my second click to play Overclock.
Running here today. Okay, sure. Spending 3 to trash.
Spending 3 to crash it.
Great. Gives me $2.
With the run that goes there, and I draw a card.
Yes. Thank you for shopping at HP.
Right. Second. That didn't really work, did it? That's probably a waste of an overclock. Definitely was a waste of an overclock. I'll draw a card. Third click. And fourth click, I'll take a credit. Here we go.
So, mandatory draw it is. One, 2.
Too much money.
3. All done.
First action. Second action, I'll play Dirty Laundry. Run Archives.
Okay. Have some money.
Yeah.
And draw a card.
Okay. 2 left. Hand size of 3.
It's what you deserve.
Yeah. Draw a card.
The table setup is so rude. What did I do? Is he just saying I have too many things in play?
And I will gain a click and I'll get rid of a card. I don't understand how it works.
Okay. Well,
here we go.
Let's do the mandatory draw. Let's see. Well, play. You didn't run that turn, did you? Get subliminal messaging.
Didn't I dirty laundry?
Oh no, you did. You did it earlier.
I dirty laundry.
You're totally right. You're totally right. I've just been so eager to pick them up. Yeah. Then we're gonna do the seamless launch. Put 2 counters on a thing that I didn't install this turn. We're gonna advance it. Score it.
The second click.
Yep. Gives me 7
credits. Not that you need it.
It says you. I've got big plans. And then the third thing we'll do is install a card. So I've done 3 different things. I get a 4th thing that is different from those. Let's gain the money. Go ahead.
So first click, I'll sure gamble. 4 money, draw a card for the console. Not getting what I need.
Icebreakers.
Well, or the chips that get the icebreakers back out of here. I've got loads in there. It's just not coming. Second action, we'll draw a card. And then when we do draw 1, it's, yeah.
Too late.
And again, I can get through this and I can get through this. I just can't get through this.
Not with that attitude.
And there's no point running on R&D because you've got Bran. If I'd have run as my first action, that's what I should have done.
Well, that would just be a Hail Mary, right? That's points.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas right now, okay, I'll just gain 2 money, and then I'm going to have to get rid of a card. So let's get rid of.
Don't trouble yourself.
Oh right, okay.
That's the last one.
It's 3 for 1.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's 3 for 2.
It's 3 for 1. That is the second one.
Yeah.
So even 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
But
so I was giving up on here, sort of. But I'd forgotten that I could have just used clicks to get through that.
I'm not sure you would have made it through the rest of them. Because here's a code gate that also costs clicks.
Okay.
And here's a barrier that also costs clicks.
And you had so much money that
you'd have needed 30 clicks or something to get in there.
Yeah. Cool. This deck's interesting, but again, first time playing it.
And it is a combo deck.
Yeah. It is a combo deck. So what it does is it uses self-modifying code to get out Revolver that comes with tokens, or the Unity, which is the code gate breaker, or the Propeller, which comes with tokens.
All using tokens, yeah.
But the Unity can be boosted quite easily. So that doesn't come with tokens, but these come with tokens, and then it runs R&D to add tokens to these. So it's quite interesting how it works. But yeah, and the pinhole threading is run any server if successful. Instead of breaching the attacked server, access 1 card in the root of another server. But if it's an agenda, you can't steal it or trash it.
Yep.
So if it was an asset,
you could still trash it.
You could trash it.
Yep. You can use that to bomb the spin doctors or take my money away or whatever.
Yeah.
Else. But you still get to run on R&D in order to do it, which lets you recharge your icebreakers.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
And then I think the other thing it does with the chips that cycle the in-play to out-of-play is an empty thing with counters on it.
Yeah, bring it back.
Be swapped for a thing from a discard that needs counters.
Yeah, that's what I didn't quite understand how it worked, the symbol chip.
Yeah.
just because I got confused by the wording on it.
Yeah, it is an odd way to rule it, to word it that way.
Right. Probably we should also use Stone Ship to draw cards. Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I could have done, and then just trashed some, but I was drawing cards which I thought might be useful.
And then that hand size really squeezed.
The hand size did, but I needed to take that damage in order to get it.
For sure.
So we're done. We played 5 games of Netrunner this morning, which have been excellent. And as I mentioned at the start, for those latecomers, this is not a sponsored video. If it was, I would have spent more time
teaching rules
and things like that. It's just for fun. Big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters again for funding the channel. If you like the content that I make and you want to support me, you can do so at patreon.com. We have 3 more playthroughs coming for you today. 2 o'clock this afternoon, Galileo Galilei will be a live stream. That is happening here at 2 o'clock. Then at 4:30, we're going to be playing Spectacular. And then at 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to be playing Gaia Project with the expansion. So I say 3 more playthroughs, at least 3 more playthroughs. Probably 3. And then tomorrow, if you're interested, tomorrow there will be something happening tomorrow morning, which we haven't decided yet. We don't know, but there will be another game being played tomorrow morning. Then in the afternoon, we're going to be playing Civolution. That is the world exclusive of that, the big new Stefan Feld game that's being released at Essen this year. That's a public playthrough tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock.
It is marvelous.
Yes. And then tomorrow evening is the Patreon only one where we're playing SETI. So yeah, busy few days. But yeah, thank you very much for joining in. Hope you found it useful. And if you are interested in getting into the game, check out Null Signal Games website. And as I say, you can print off all of the cards and just print off the starter set. Don't dive down the rabbit hole too quick, because you can get hundreds of cards and you'll get overwhelmed. Just start with the basic set, print out the starters, and get a few games of that in, and that'll get you started.
Make a friend, teach Netrunner.
Yes. Cheers, Davey. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.